We hopping on that gossip train, y'all. The court. I'm not going there. I'm not. I'm going to sustain the objection. That's more of a sideshow than we're going to. She's not on trial here, okay? Elaine, there had to be something that had the time. First of all, Eve Barlow is not a journalist. Second of all, she's not Ms. Heard's. The court. Well, I really don't care about all of that. All right, guys, I found the transcripts. I was trying to find the transcripts yesterday and I didn't find it, but now we got them. We got the transcripts when they yeeted Barlow out of the courtroom. And I'm going to reread some of the other parts that I kind of skipped around yesterday. I got all my notes organized. We have a couple days ahead of sidebars I'm going to read through, but hello, how is everyone? I would be wearing white when I smell chocolate on my shirt. It's hideous. I have to avert my eyes. Go wash immediately. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I changed my shirt. No! This is why I don't like wearing light colors. Okay, so they decide to do I don't know, maybe a sort of emergency preliminary hearing with Judge Penny. This was on a Friday at 10 a.m. I think the day after Gina Duders was kicked off the stand or removed off the stand. Yeah, I think they got tired of her near the end. It was funny, though. I started feeling so bad for Elaine. I really did. Yeah, I felt really bad for her. But then when she was, doing the press tour stuff, on behalf of her client, of course, I was just like, I couldn't just help but just really just roll my eyes. You've read his name. I bet he showered for hours after each court. They had an exorcist stop by. All right, y'all, let's get to the court. The court. Okay, we got the court reporter. All right, is this your matter? Mr. Chu. Yes, Your Honor. Very briefly. Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Ben Chu. Have you sworn in? I apologize. The court. Raise your hand. Please stand for me. I just can't see you. Thank you. The court reporter was duly sworn in. The court. Sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Mr. Chu. Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Ben Chu for Johnny Depp. I have a preliminary matter, but it's a very serious one. The court. Okay. It won't take too much time. The court. Okay. Mr. Chu, may we approach the court? Yes, sir. Mr. Chu, Your Honor, we're moving, or Mr. Depp is moving for the permanent exclusion of Eve Barlow from the court. Eve Barlow? Who's Eve Barlow? Who's Eve Barlow? Judge Patty already forgot who that person was. Mr. Chu, Eve Barlow is a journalist and Ms. Heard's current girlfriend who was sitting in the front row, the court. Okay. Mr. Chu, yesterday, and the court ordered to the back row, and then she was later, as I was discussing in a minute, thrown out at 4:31 p.m. by Lieutenant Porter. But if I could explain to the court, okay, what the court is seeing, you'll recall yesterday, Mr. Roddenborn came up with what was with Ms. Barlow's phone. Okay. And he showed you the first document that you're looking at, the shorter version. Right. The text. This is the text from Ms. Duders, Gina Duders. We understand that she was properly excluded, but this is what he showed, Your Honor, saying to the court, representing to the court, that Ms. Duders had texted since the start of the trial. And Your Honor will see that Mr. Roddenborn showed you did not have the date. Oh, that is sketchy. Sketchy. If you look at the second document, you will see, Your Honor, I'm sorry, it's an Instagram post. It's an Instagram post. So Mr. Roddenborn, the court, not like I would know the difference, but I thank you for your clarification. Ms. Myers, you're welcome. Mr. Chu. Oh, wait, was this Myers that popped in? Oh, no, so Ben Chu. Okay. Ben Chu. I didn't, given my age, but so what Mr. Roddenborn showed you was Ms. Duders' Instagram post without the date. Wait, random sidebar question. Does Ben Chu have an Instagram? I'm just curious. Does he have an Instagram? I don't know, man. A lot of adults be making Instagram accounts nowadays. My mom tried making one, but I think she gave up because she was like, I don't get this. I'm going back to Instagram. I don't like this. The only person she seemed to have a close relationship on her team was Roddenborn, even though he had to grasp the straws in closing because he knew the jury knew that she was lying, a liar who lies. I know a lot of people don't like Roddenborn, but I think he was a competent lawyer. I liked him. But I didn't like that he was representing Amber Heard, but I did like him. Hey, y'all. Hi, Mariah. How are you doing today? How's it going? Hello. Damn it. I'm one of them. What, one of the Instagram people? Mr. Chu. That was very disturbing. We believe it was a fraud upon the court. We believe that Mr. Roddenborn, as an officer of the court, should have taken a look at what he was handing up to the court especially since it was handed to him by someone improperly sitting in the first row, a reporter and Ms. Heard's girlfriend. And that's not where it ends, Your Honor, unfortunately. Ms. Barlow has been passing notes to and from Ms. Heard from the beginning of trial, and she's been sending out live tweets throughout the trial. The court, is she still sending out tweets? Mr. Chu, she was as of 4:31 p.m. yesterday when she was removed by the court. If I may approach, I'll do it one more time. This was Ms. Barlow's post during Ms. Vasquez's opening, and you'll see her, the court. So she was tweeting from the courtroom? Mr. Chu, she was tweeting in the courtroom. She was sitting right there tweeting during Ms. Vasquez's opening. Your Honor may remember that Ms. Vasquez said that Ms. Heard would be giving the performance of her lifetime. So she says in real time, actually, it was Vasquez who was giving the performance of a lifetime of her lifetime. Oh, wow, throwing them shots. So this is contemporaneous with my colleague's opening. She's live tweeting and she's getting it all out in the public. And finally, this is the last time, I'm sorry. Your Honor will remember that when we first raised the issue, Your Honor ordered people to the back. So Ms. Barlow reluctantly left the first seat and went to the back. And this was the tweet that got her thrown out the last time. It says, what does Amber Heard hope to achieve? She has a gorgeous 1-year-old daughter, and she said that she was beginning this rest of my life in 2021, 12 months after her mother died. It was at this point that Lieutenant Porter saw her violating the court's order and asked her to leave. Now, Your Honor, if this was just an isolated, well, actually, I'll take that back. It's more, the court interrupts, if you violate the order, you violate the order. Mr. Chu, it's more than enough to get her thrown out permanently, but it takes place in context. Your Honor will remember the inappropriate disclosure of sexual assault violations and violations of a protective order, perhaps more egregiously when people weren't on participating by WebEx in this one. 2 days before the trial, Ms. Heard posted on Instagram her opening argument. I just choked on my spit for a second there. Hi, Roscoe. How are you doing today? He had his moments of being a good lawyer, but he was heavily overshadowed by him being shady, sneaky, sometimes outright childish. Yeah, he was very Your Honor. He was very, you can tell he was a bit petulant at times. Yeah, definitely huffing. Oh, okay. I feel like sometimes the judge is just like a babysitter of a bunch of children lawyers, you know? Okay, guys, all right. You sit in that timeout corner. You go over here. You sit out over there. Don't look at each other. Don't talk to each other. Don't touch each other. Dude, I love to wear white too. I literally get something on as soon as I wear it. I know. I literally just put the shirt on. This is why I don't like wearing colors. 2 days before the trial, Ms. Heard posted on Instagram her opening argument. And I understand none of the juries referred to it, but she made it very clear in her Instagram post that Mr. Depp names wasn't mentioned in her op-ed, which was the primary feature of Mr. Roddenborn's opening. That was really egregious. Then, during my opening, to try to throw me off, Ms. Bredehoff made an improper objection saying, and she tried to mention it. The point is, Your Honor, the court's order must mean something. We're trying to play by rules here, and it's just outrageous what Ms. Barlow has done. She was thrown out yesterday, and all we're asking, with a very limited form of relief, is that she's barred from attending the rest of the trial. The court. All right, Ms. Bredehoff. Elaine. Thank you, Your Honor. I absolutely had no idea what was going on, that he was going to raise this morning. So I'm going to respond to it cold. First of all, Eve Barlow is not a journalist. Second of all, she's not Ms. Heard's. The court. Well, I really don't care about all of that. She was live tweeting in my courtroom. This is 4:31. Elaine. I don't know about that, Your Honor. The court. Well, I do. I can read it. 4:31 on April 14th, 2022. Elaine. I know she. The court. And I know the deputies took her out because she was texting. That's against the court order. I don't like anybody. If I find anybody else texting, they don't get to come back in. So why would she be able to come back in? Ms. Bredehoff. And I have no knowledge of this, Your Honor. She's not even arguing. She's just reacting at this point. Come on, Elaine, get it together. It's 10 o'clock a.m. You should have had your coffee by now. The court. And I know you didn't, and I understand that. And I mean, like I say, when people were passing notes, I thought, well, legal team. That's why I gave you the first row, because of legal teams. And then more information comes into me, bits and pieces, that it's not the legal team. Okay, so move back, Ms. Bredehoff. And then the court. But then she's still texting. So Elaine. And let me back up just a little bit. Ms. Barlow was not here during the opening. She was not present in the courtroom. And so the court. Well, she was present when she did this live tweet in my courtroom. Elaine. And that may be, Your Honor. I have no knowledge of it. I have no knowledge of it. And I have no way to address that, Your Honor. The court. Well, I do. Ms. Barlow is not coming back to the courtroom during this trial. Elaine. Okay. The court. Okay. Ms. Elaine. All right. Thank you, Your Honor. The court. Thank you. Mr. Chu. Thank you, Your Honor. There was also there's another transcript that I have to find. I thought it was going to be in here. So essentially, maybe it's in the future trials, but Eve Barlow got thrown out, I guess. She can't come back in, but then she kind of sneaks back in because she comes with Amber Heard's entourage. You know how like they have like a separate entrance that they go through? Apparently she goes through that separate entrance. And then the Depp lawyers are like, excuse me, she's still coming in. And then I think, I don't know, Judge Penny addresses it to Elaine, and I'm going to have to find that. If anyone knows where that is and which day of the transcript, let me know so I can just get a heads up for it. But I thought it was kind of funny. So yeah, there's a motion right here. So upon consideration of plaintiff's motion to exclude Eve Barlow from the courtroom for the pendency of the trial, so the motion is granted. So she's not allowed back into the courtroom. Man, naughty rule breakers. Maybe they weren't clear. I don't know. I can't imagine Judge Penny not being clear about the rules. I feel like Judge Penny, when she has her rulings and stuff like that, she is very fucking clear. And when she talks to you, her speech is very clear. Let's see. Dr. Kipper rates Nadelhoff versus Jessica Myers, the island fight. Okay, so at this point, I think Dr. Kipper might be on. Well, it was like a video deposition, I believe, with Dr. Kipper. And they're talking about evidence being put in and the rates that Dr. Kipper was being paid. Dr. Kipper doesn't want his rates to be out there. Nadelhoff and their team, they want to put the evidence out there that shows maybe not his like line-to-line rates, but his overall rate and how many hourly, what his hourly was and stuff like that. But based on, if you like divide the numbers, you can probably figure out what his hourly rate is. And it's probably just a really high number, and he probably doesn't want people to know about that. So let's just read a little bit about it. All right. So again, Jessica Myers is the attorney for Amber Heard. No, sorry. Jessica Myers is the lovely attorney from Johnny Depp's side. She's the one with the curly brown hair. And then Nadelhoff is the guy that I think he's a funny guy. I like him because he just makes all his facial expressions behind the scenes. But when he was actually, he was kind of like, no, actually, he huffed and puffed more than Roddenborn did. I think I'm getting them mixed up. Nadelhoff was the one that did a lot of huffing and puffing and like stamping away and stuff like that. But, I found him entertaining. Okay. The court. All right. Are we ready for the jury? Mr. Chu. Yes, Your Honor. The court. Ms. Brederhoff, are you ready for the jury? Are you ready for the jury? Elaine. Yes. All right. I just want to make sure that with these exhibits from the last that we're going to get them somehow into evidence or redacted copies. Do we have them now or do we need them? Jessica. I have a hard copy, Your Honor, of our copy before we turned in the court. Not for the newest deposition, for the one that we had with Dr. Kipper. Jessica. Yes, I have the exhibits. Okay. Mr. Nadelhoff. There's just one thing, Your Honor. There's a disagreement on if we can address it either now or later. The court. Okay. Which do you have a disagreement on? Might as well just do it now before we get to the next deposition. Jessica. Sure. The exhibit is the invoice from Dr. Kipper. The court. What number is it? Jessica. Oh, I'm sorry. It is Nadelhoff. 1067, Defendant's Exhibit 1067. Jessica. That's correct. And we have no objections to the documents coming in. The court. Okay. It's just that we have disagreements about the redactions. The court. All right. You want to come forward and then we'll take a look at and you said 1067, correct? Nadelhoff. Correct, Your Honor. Sidebar time. So, Mr. Nadelhoff. So we made the redactions on the exhibit, the court, right? Mr. Nadelhoff. So there's totals at the bottom of each, and we don't have an issue with. They want these redacted, which are that adds up to the total. We don't think they should be redacted because it's a business record. There's no reason. The court. All right. What's the reason to redact them? Jessica. Your Honor, this is a financial record of the third party and Dr. Kipper's deposition. His attorney objected strenuously to the level of redaction on these. And like I said, I have no objection to the total amounts coming in, but this sort of private information, how much he charges for each services, Nadelhoff. And it isn't like the nursing supervision that's actually, I think the jury should understand how it came out in the final total. And that's really no reason. The court, what's the relevance of how it came out in the final total? I just want to know where you're coming from. Nadelhoff. So he testified the nurse. He saw the nurses every day. I think it's relevant for the jury to see that it was $75,000 a month for, and I think it's all relevant to see how it add up so they can see what the totals are. The court. All right, I'll allow it. That's fine. Ms. Myers. I'm sorry, Your Honor. The court. I'll allow it. Ms. Myers. Other than the nursing services, could we redact that? Nadelhoff. There's really nothing personal here. Ms. Myers. Look, I just don't feel comfortable because it's a third party and I know there was an objection by Dr. Kipper's counsel. The court. What are you really concerned about? Jessica. I know that personally I'm just expressing what Dr. Kipper's counsel expressing to us during the deposition, which was that this is financial information that's protected under California law, and he objected to the itemized services that reflected the cost per service. Nadelhoff. The jury should... I don't think it's giving away any secrets. The court. I guess you can say how many hours you can figure out the hourly rate. I see the document as one, his hourly rate. I can see that as being an issue. I mean, is it really that relevant, his hourly rate? I mean, it could. Did you possibly just wanted to have what was over there possibly? Nadelhoff. I mean, how many hours and then just not give the rate? Jessica. I mean, I'll stand on the position, but I do accept that we should have some redactions. The court. If we take out some of the hours, then yeah, it's yes. Jessica. But leave the number in the services. Yeah. Mr. Nadelhoff. The column on each page. The court. Okay, is it fine? Nadelhoff says yes. Court says, all right, let's do that. Nadelhoff will get back to them to you. Court says, all right. And Elaine. Your Honor, may I approach? Oh, this is the one where she complains about juror number 25. So we already covered this yesterday. Elaine is concerned because she thinks there's a juror who is saying, good morning, Mr. Depp, or waving to Mr. Depp, or smiling at Mr. Depp. And they're kind of going back and forth about this. And at some point, they finally, this juror does get dismissed, because I was wondering, are they ever going to talk to this juror to like not say hi, not say anything, or maybe Elaine is exaggerating. But at some point, they do get rid of this juror. So let's go over here. Okay, so we're going to go to the juror right now. This is like Vampire at the Masquerade, but with legal jargon. Hi, Toy Box, how are you doing today? How's it going? Day 15, Eve sneaks back in the court. PR guy gets tossed for being rude. Judge P is very mad that... Oh, was it day 15? Okay, I need to... Wait, was it really day 15? Okay, so we're like a long ways from that then. I can't believe she snuck back in. Oh my gosh. Juror 25, who happens to be the one waving the deputies at lunchtime, said that he had hernia surgery 2 months ago and he's in a lot of pain. He doesn't feel comfortable sitting here, and I'm not sure if it's just today or if that's in general, but I was... Ms. Brederhoff interrupts. I'm happy to excuse him. Judge Petty. I know you are. I think I can bring him out here so we can talk with him and see. If I excuse him today, he's excused for the jury. He has to know that. But would you want me to bring him out so we can talk to him? Mr. Chu. So we wouldn't want to dismiss him immediately. I mean, I just had hernia surgery myself several months ago. I don't have any problems at all, but I know everyone's different. Damn, hernia surgery sounds really painful. I think my mom had hernia surgery before. Yikes. Anyone here in chat had hernia surgery that you want to disclose? It sounds really painful. Elaine. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. All right, we'll bring him in. Can we get 25? Sir, you can have a seat. That's fine. Maybe if you can just talk real loud for me. Sir, I know that you let the deputy know that you're not feeling well from surgery that you had. Hold on just a minute. I really can't hear you. Jury number 25. I had a hernia problem. That's why it started being... I don't know if jury 25 is a guy or a girl or not, but normal... I don't know. I just had a hernia problem. That's why I just started being... The court, you have a problem with a hernia? Is it really bothering you to the point where you can't concentrate? Yeah. Today, I don't know why it's bothering me so much. I just want to make sure you understand, because if I excuse you today, I'm excusing you from jury. I tried to go home, get medicine, get ready, be rested for tomorrow. I can't do that. I can't have that done. We have to keep going. Has it been bothering you other days while you've been on the jury? No. Today, start now. Never bothered me for 1-2 weeks I'm here. But it might bother you also tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm trying to do my best. I know you're trying to do your best. I just want to make sure you're healthy too. I don't want to ruin your health for this. Just sit there for a second. If I can have the attorneys. Do you have any follow-up questions? Mr. Chu, did he have surgery? The court. Sounds like he has just a hernia problem that bothered him 1 to 2 weeks a year. That's what I got from that. Mr. Chu, if it was just surgery, it would probably get better. The court. I'm just afraid tomorrow he's going to call in or something, or he's not focusing on the testimony today. Elaine, today. He's already saying that today, so I moved to excuse him. The court. There's not much that I know. Female speaker. It's early on. There's much that we can do. Would you like us to ask him if he's able to concentrate? The court. He says that he's pretty pain. I think we have to cut our losses here. Mr. Chu. If he's incarcerated, the court. He needs to go to the doctor, get it checked out. I think it might be worse than he think it is. He's not one of our alternatives, but what we can do at this point, we'll take one of the names out of the alternate bag, and I'll tell you what name is, and that person will be back on jury. Elaine. Okay, so we get the alternatives that are not in the order we picked them? The court. They're in an envelope together. It's like Judge Petty will explain the process, and then Elaine will ask the question again about the process. But it's like the judge just said it. Like, I don't know. Elaine just wants to be extra clear, I guess. Elaine, oh, okay. I thought the order in which Judge Penny, we could do it that way if you want. Rather do it that way. You decide tonight. I'll keep them in an envelope. Okay, so now the court says, sir, we're going to make sure you're healthy. We're going to excuse you from this jury, okay? Just take care of yourself. Jury says, okay. The court says, okay, thank you. You can go back, da-da-da-da. So at this point, juror number 25, who Elaine says was saying, hi, good morning, Mr. Depp, waving, smiling, whatever it was, he is now excused. So no more drama with juror number 25. And I think that's good. Now it's all clean. So again, we already read this one. We're going to move on to day 6. And day 6, well, let's see. Who testifies on day... What do we got on day 6? Day 6, we got Sean Bett, which is Johnny Depp's personal bodyguard. We have Keenan Wyatt, who is a sound engineer. And, Johnny Depp testifies today. All right, let's see what we got here. I think we got some interesting sidebars with Roddenborn. I think. Maybe. Oh, not quite, because it was like at the tail end. Okay. Let's go. Sidebar. Sidebar number 1. We have the cross-examination of Sean Bett, again, the bodyguard, and he's being cross-examined by Mr. Ben Rottenborn. Rottenborn. He just testified that he hadn't helped facilitate, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Mr. Depp's drug use. So this is for impeachment, and you've got to read the text in context to see how it impeaches him. The court. All right, if you can approach Mr. Rottenborn. Sure. So they're approaching during a sidebar right now. The court. All right, this isn't a hard copy. So you're saying this impeaches him for facilitating drug use? Yes, Your Honor. I haven't read it yet, so I'm not sure. Where in there do you say that happens? So there's some visitors to the house. If you start at the bottom and read up, and Mr. Depp makes clear he doesn't want them to go down and see them. He says the not drugs are down there. On, I think it's at entry 73. And then right above that, he says, so the visitors are coming. He says on 74, he says something about can't go downstairs until they split. And then he says, the not drugs is down there. What's a boy to do? And he says, trying to help daddy. I'm a little confused. I almost complained, hi, Nancy, how are you doing today? I'm sorry, what is the impeachment of this? Roddenborn. The impeachment is, he says, he doesn't help facilitate Mr. Depp's drug use. Mr. Depp is saying the not drugs. He doesn't want to go downstairs because the not drugs is down there. Meaning, I don't know what that means. Camille, yeah, I don't either. That's not impeachment. That's not proper impeachment. Roddenborn, I don't know what it means either, but it's the court. Then how can you say it's impeachment if you don't know what it means? Mr. Roddenborn, well, I'm going to ask him because, well, he says he doesn't want to go to the downstairs because the not drugs, meaning like the drugs are upstairs. I don't want to go downstairs. The court, I understand that. Do you know what I'm saying? The court, I'm going to sustain the objection. I just don't see the impeachment. All right, so Roddenborn loses that one. That's funny. He's like, I don't know what they're talking about either, but it's impeachment. Camille's like, yeah, no. 1, 5, 3, 4. What do we got for this one? Now we have Keenan Wyatt is now on the stand. He's a sound engineer, and he's being directly examined by Ben Chu. Let's go to 1533, line 11. All right, so this is Ben Chu. Has Mr. Depp ever worn an earpiece in any of his movies in which he worked on? Yes. And for what purpose are earpieces generally used by actors on the set? Well, I believe it was. Elaine. Objection, Your Honor. First of all, relevance, foundation. The court. What's the relevance? Elaine, hearsay. Mr. Chu, may we approach, Your Honor? So they're approaching right now. We got a little sidebar going on. Mr. Chu, Your Honor, this is a few questions about this. Part of their case is that Johnny's an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he can't remember his lines, and I need to establish that he uses earpieces for a very different reason. The court, well, I think if you want to direct it towards him, but the last question you said, why do people generally use earpieces in the film? Mr. Chu, I was just trying to ask that one question just to establish what. The court, that's all right. If you want to direct it to Johnny Depp, that's fine. Mr. Chu, okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So again, this is talking about the earpiece thing, because remember, Amber Heard's team are going to say that the reason why Johnny Depp wore an earpiece is because he couldn't remember his lines. But Johnny Depp's team are like, well, actually, he wore the earpiece, yes, but he wore it because he liked to listen to music. And I'm sure occasionally he might have been fed a line here and there, but it was mostly to listen to music. Better late than never, Nancy. That's true. That is very true. All right, next sidebar. We got sidebar number 4. We have, potentially another juror. I think they were kind of a little worried about one of the jurors here. So this is after the sound engineer testimony, after the direct by Ben Chu. All right, the court. Okay, so juror will find the juror, the young man in the black. Elaine, number 4. The court. Number 4. He's feeling very anxious. He seems to be having some sort of mental issues, but he says he's okay right now. He thinks at lunchtime he might be able to get some medicine. I might keep my eye on him. I'm a little concerned because I guess Judy saw that she saw him on the elevator too, and he was talking to himself, acting a little off, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'll keep my eye on him. He said he's okay until lunch. I didn't talk to him. That's through a deputy who says he said that he's okay through lunch, but we'll keep an eye on him and see exactly what's going on with him. And at lunchtime, we'll have a better, I was going to, after this witness, go ahead and take an early lunch. Mr. Chu, I think that makes sense, Your Honor, because we have some issues. We have 100% agreement on the recordings, but I think we can use the time to kind of finish that up. The court, okay, sure. We'll send them to lunch after this witness. We'll continue for a while so we can take good care of things. Okay, is that good? All right, everyone agrees. Everyone exits. So we have one juror that they're a little bit worried about, and let's see what ends up happening with this juror, or maybe nothing ends up happening at all, and they're completely fine. Sidebar number 5. Sidebar number 5. We are now talking about the Boston plane incident. Boston plane incident was when I think Johnny Depp was waiting in the car with his sound engineer. Amber Heard shows up, and it seems like the both of them are kind of like in a disagreement, argument. There's some tension, and they both get on the private plane together. And I think apparently there's two very different stories that each side has said has happened. One side, Amber Heard, said that Johnny Depp was really drunk and he was really belligerent, and I think Amber Heard said that like Johnny hit him and there's other people around. But on Johnny's side, he said he was trying to run away from her. He like locked himself in the bathroom. I don't know. It's just so crazy how the two different sides are so different. But there was no one to attest the fact that, to Amber's claim, saying that they saw Johnny hit Amber. I think they just all said like, oh yeah, they were fighting. I don't know. It sounded kind of crazy. Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing today? Hello. How you doing? So Keenan Wyatt is being cross-examined by Elaine. And okay, so Elaine's going to be asking the question here. So you get on the airplane and it's your testimony that Miss Heard had a bad tone of voice with Mr. Depp. Is that correct? She had a bad tone of voice with me. Okay. In fact, wasn't Mr. Depp saying pretty horrible things to Miss Heard? I don't recall that. Like, get fucked on set? Get fucked with fucking James fucking Franco? Did you hear that? I don't recall. Did you hear him say, at least you fucking liked it? Oh, man. There are some things that Elaine has said in trial that I just really can't unhear. No. Did you hear him say, I bet you slipped a tongue in there and you liked it? No. Did you hear him say, making references to Amber's pussy and asking her if her pussy was wet? Oh my God, poor Elaine. Mr. Chu hops in. Your Honor, lack of foundation, harassment. Did you hear any of that? The answer, no, not that I recall. Judge Penny, I'll overrule the objection. That's fine. Next question. Now, you shared an oxygen tank with Mr. Depp on the Boston plane, didn't you? No. You don't recall Mr. Depp insisting that a flight attendant give him an oxygen tank and the two of you used it? No. Okay. Do you recall Mr. Depp drinking champagne on the airplane? I don't know what he was drinking. I'm sure I was having a wine. He could have been drinking champagne. Do you remember him drinking a couple bottles of champagne? God damn, a couple bottles? I don't know how much. And that is your testimony that Mr. Depp didn't kick Amber? I didn't see anything like that. Okay. Did you see Mr. Depp go into the back of the plane and pass out and moan loud? I don't recall that. You don't recall that either? No. Okay. Elaine says, can we pull up an exhibit? There's an objection. They're going to approach. All right, now we're doing the sidebar. Elaine, this is, I know, I needed my glasses for this. 245 has no objection. The court, 245. Mr. Chu, it's improper impeachment. It's not to Mr. Wyatt. Elaine, first of all, it's admitted, so it can be published. But this is Mr. Depp talking about what he drank and what he took in drugs. Your Honor, this is hearsay. Before and at the time. Your Honor, this is hearsay and it's prejudicial. We're admitting it here. The court, who's it coming from, though? It's from Depp to Paul Bettany. The court, to who? To Paul Bettany. Mr. Chu, no, it's not to him. The court, no, then it can't come in. Just because they can't object to it doesn't mean it. Just because they didn't object to it doesn't mean it automatically comes into trial. You're trying to use it for impeachment. Obviously, they don't know what they're trying to use it for at the time. So there are still hearsay objections and impeachment objections that come up during trial. Right now, he's not even party to this conversation, so I'm not going to allow it, okay? Elaine, okay, thank you, Your Honor. And then Ben Chu. Oh, Ben Chu says, I think she should be instructed to move on. The court, excuse me? Mr. Chu, she should be instructed to move on to another. Elaine, no, I'm going to ask questions. I can't just use the document. The court, well, you're not going to use it. And you're not going to ask questions about this text, though. Elaine, I can make reference to the text. Mr. Chu, no. Elaine, because Your Honor's ruling, so I'm going to ask him additional questions, but I'm not going to put it in text. The court, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Elaine, not involving the words on this text, correct? Elaine, correct. Mr. Chu, that's what I wanted to make sure. The court, okay. All right, Elaine, you got this? I think she does okay. I think she does okay here. She asks her questions. I don't think she, angers Judge Penny or anything. We're going to hop on to the next sidebar. Cartman? What? Cartman's like, nah. He sounds like this or something. I don't know. It's like high pitched and like annoying. Elaine's like, she's got the sultry, like smoky voice kind of, Oh, this is when the Team Hurt acting kind of shady in this one. They're trying to inject something. I don't know. Something about an affair. Someone sleeping with another person. And Mr. Chu has to put his foot down and step in. Let's go to 1585 on -2. Okay. So again, we're still talking about the plane fight. And Elaine, I think, is still asking questions. And Keenan Wyatt is still on the stand. Still talking about the plane. All right, Elaine says, when you say you don't recall, as you're sitting here today under oath, you honestly can't remember if Mr. Depp was passed out when you left the plane? Mr. Chu, ask and answer, Your Honor. The court, all right, I'll allow it this one time. Go ahead and you can answer it, sir. Answer. There was a lot of plane fights. I mean, the only reason why I remember this one was because Amber yelled at me on the flight. Question. Do you remember my question? Answer. I didn't. I don't recall. Elaine. All right. Answer. I mean, I could have just got off the plane and left. I don't know. Question. And Mr. Depp could have kicked Amber on the plane, right? Mr. Chu. Your Honor, asked and answered. Answer. Not that I saw. Question. Okay. And he could have passed out? Not that I recall. Okay. And how many times were you with Amber and Mr. Depp together? I have no idea. No idea. Well, what will be the circumstances have been? Invited over for something or other, or, Johnny and I may have been recording some music or something and she was there, don't know, at work, I don't know. Now, you have a pretty close personal relationship with Christy Dombrowski, didn't you? We're friends, yes. And you are more than friends for quite a few years, wouldn't you say? Your Honor, relevance, may we approach? The bench shoe. Elaine says, it's impeachment. Court says, approach, please. Now they're doing a sidebar. Court says, all right, what's the problem? Mr. Chu, she's wanting to go into the gutter again, and she's trying to intimate. She's trying to intimate. Hold on. Bench says, she's wanting to go into the gutter again. Gutter Elaine. No. I'm just imagining Elaine just crawling out of the gutter. Get her out of the gutter. She's going in the gutter again, guys. Poor Elaine. Get her out of there. She's lost. Okay. So Mr. Chu says, she's wanting to go back into the gutter again and try to intimate the court. I'm not sure. Elaine, he's biased. He had an affair with her for years. Mr. Chu, he didn't. That's lie number one. We hopping on that gossip train, y'all. The court. I'm not going there. I'm not. I'm going to sustain the objection. That's more of a sideshow than we're going to. She's not on trial here, okay? Elaine, correct. The court. All right. Oh my God. I don't know if Keenan Wyatt and Christy Dombrowski. Christy is Johnny Depp's sister. I don't know if they had an affair or not. I've never heard of that before, but I don't know. I don't think I even care if they did. Oh, the gutter creature. I went to read the Herd Cross sidebar because I'm curious. I absolutely can't wait. Really? Oh my God, Elaine completely cooks herself. Oh, poor Elaine. But Elaine, she's funny. She's funny. I bet you Elaine is she's probably a blast at the family functional dinners. Could you imagine Elaine just getting drunk off wine and just being her silly self? She seems like she might be a good time. All right. Sidebar number 7. Going back to talking about the juror, we're not too sure how they are mentally doing. So the court, with juror number 4, we have CSB in the building, for mental health services. So I'm going to have one of them come up, just not release him for lunch yet, and talk to him, see exactly if he's having a mental health issue. Elaine, I think that's a good idea. Mr. Chu, thank you, Your Honor. The court. Okay, and we're going to see where we are. We can go update from there. I'm sorry about the extended lunch. I thought we had other things to do, but if that works out, Camille. Well, we appreciate it, Your Honor, because we've met and conferred and started on the recordings. The court. Okay, good. Camille. And we have an agreement that both sides can use others' voices. The court. During Mr. Depp's. I gotcha. The only thing we're still ironing out is whether we believe Mr. Depp believes that only the portions of, we have transcriptions of the recordings. The court. Okay. Ms. Vasquez. Both sides do, but we believe similar to the way Your Honor has been ruling on the text message, only the portion of the transcripts that are displayed. The court. Right. Camille. Should be submitted to the jury as either an aid or, if Your Honor would prefer, or admitted to evidence. The court. Okay. Ms. Vasquez. Ms. Heard's counsel is insisting that the entire transcript should be provided to the jury, and we disagree with that. The court. As far as when it comes to the video coverage and transcripts, they can have the transcripts as aid. They're not evidence. Camille. Right? The court. Okay, so they can have them as aid as you're watching the video. Elaine. Audio. And we're mostly talking that audio here. Audio recordings. The court. Audio. It can be assistance when they have the audio, but the transcripts themselves, they don't come into evidence. The evidence is an audio recording. Elaine, I think the reason we've got the transcripts, Your Honor, there is one audio recording that's over 5 hours, and it's the court. It doesn't come into evidence unless the audio comes into evidence. I usually don't let transcripts into the jury, but we'll let them. Elaine cuts her off. We just wanted to do that so that the court, okay, that's fine. But if you think that it will help them, maybe there's a hard to hear parts of the audio, I'll allow them to, you can pass it on to them while they're listening to the audio. And then once it's done, I'll collect them back up. Elaine, okay. Vasquez. And there's going to be 2 versions, Your Honor, because we've done transcriptions. They've done transcriptions. Really? Oh, because I was just thinking, what if the hard to hear parts could be interpreted as a totally different word, but each side does their own transcriptions? Oh my God, that's so much for the jury to look over if they wanted to. No, She's just chilling in Spain, I think. I don't hear anything about her getting sued again. Hi, Apocalypse. How are you doing today? We're just reading the sidebars. We're listening. We're reading the parts that we didn't get to hear or see during the trial. So basically, all the side drama. She was like, they didn't put into discovery. And then after Camille says, well, that's on Amber for not admitting her own exhibit, she said, but she did the discovery. It's in discovery, but she did. It's in discovery. All right, we'll get into it, Snow Owl. Okay. The court. Of course there is. Mr. Chu. Very unreasonable. The court. Okay, so do you want me to come back a little early so I can decide which one? Or are you guys going to figure that out on your own? I'm not going to give the jurors 2 transcriptions. Oh, so they do not give the juror 2 transcriptions. Okay. Damn. They got to fight which word is which. Ms. Vasquez, you're not going to give them have 2? The court. No, the whole point is to help them. Ms. Vasquez, wouldn't it be the court if you can't agree that I'm not going to give it to them? It's just going to be their hearing of it. Ms. Vasquez, okay. Would you be amenable if we play a portion of the transcript and then we provide our transcription and then the court? No, we're not going to do that. Camille, no? Okay. The court, okay, no. Vasquez, okay. So they say, okay, no, back and forth a little bit. Court, okay. So it's either 1 transcription or none. Camille, or none. The court, and it doesn't go to the juror. Okay, we'll see you at 2. Everyone says, thank you. So they have to fight over whose transcript is going to be given to the juror, or maybe none of them gets transcript at all. I don't know how did they figure that out? I hope there's some follow-up with that. Next sidebar we got. At this point, Johnny Depp is on the stand. I believe he is being direct examined by Jessica Myers, and he's talking about his childhood background story, about how his family was splitting up, and we're going to have a little sidebar on that. So let's go to 16. All right, so this is Johnny Depp right here. I can't do the Johnny Depp impression. It's too hard, but let's try. And I saw my mother, and in that mode. So instantly, I knew that something was dreadfully wrong. There's drool coming out of her mouth, and I was about to run and call. The front door busted open, and my uncle and 2 paramedics came and threw her in the gurney, whisked her out of the house to get her out of the hospital to pump her stomach. She swallowed a multitude of pills to try to take herself out, to try to commit suicide. And when she got out of the hospital, she was a small firecracker of a woman. She was about 5'2", but when she got out of the hospital, the depression was so deep. She was so down to she lived on the couch and weighed about 70 pounds. Jesus. Weighed about 70 pounds. And that all that imagery spun into my head at that time. I thought that was very in my head at the time. I thought that in a very cowardly way for my father to have left. I was very deeply upset by that. And until my father, I had a conversation years later where I asked him, what really happened? How did it happen when I was older? And he told me that story. Brought on board. Objection, Your Honor. Ms. Myers, Your Honor, may we approach the court? Sure. So now we're doing a sidebar. Jessica says, Your Honor, this is being offered for his state of mind and understanding his relationship. The foundation upon which the relationship that he was in with Ms. Hurd is. Mr. Roddenborn, still, that's just, I have a lot of restraints so far. He's getting into what his dad told him about what is left, so hearsay. The court. What? Mr. Roddenborn, if it's offered for the truth, it's clear that they're trying to draw a parallel, make it Amber's family here and Johnny's. The court. I don't know what the answer, so I can just... Ms. Myers, his understanding is that his mother had attempted, held a gun to his father, and then to her own head. And that's what his father told him. Now, whether it's true or not, what Mr. Depp understood the situation was and why his father left. The court. So why is that relevant? Ms. Myers, it's relevant to the understanding why Mr. Depp would stay in this relationship with Ms. Hurd and why she would ultimately leave. The court. I'm going to sustain the objection. Move on. Thank you. All right. So they move on, sustain. And now we have Elaine versus Camille Vasquez. Elaine. All right. So at this point, we're at the end of day 6. The jury has been dismissed. The lawyers are left in the courtroom. And we might be in the courtroom too. Or this is a sidebar. I don't know. We probably did get to listen to this. But you know what? Well, let's just read it anyways. All right. So Elaine, can we approach? We've never discussed a second alternate. The court. 15 is what I have. The next time we came together, I was going to say that. 15. There's one minor issue. I don't know with the respect to the timing track of respective times. Right? Counsel for Johnny Depp has sent an email to Sammy with itemization. We had asked Your Honor, may recall 2 Fridays ago, I asked them to give me their worksheets with their calculations and everything so I could double check it, so we can agree on it. They're now refusing to give those to me, so I can't verify any of those. Go back and check them. Well, I think, so I need those. Are they way off? I would have to done to the calculations too. Right? But they said they were going to do it. Right? The calculations. Camille. Ms. Brederhoff, I'm here and I'm happy to provide. All we did, Your Honor, the court, it would be too difficult to do that. I assume you would do yours, and then when your case comes around, you do yours. Camille. Actually, we have Planet Depots doing it now, but they couldn't go backwards. The court. Okay. Elaine. That's why they said they were doing those. The court. I guess what she's saying is that there's no worksheets. Camille. There's no worksheets per se. Ms. Brederhoff just. Elaine. There had to be something that had to time. Camille. Yeah, it's called the transcripts. What we did is say anything that was designated in our colors or your colors. Elaine. But you put times on them, right? Camille. No, we added it and subtracted it. Elaine. So that's what I'm missing, the underlying numbers to add them up. Ms. Vasquez. All we did was we call the court. Hold on. Elaine. The transcripts here. One of them is right there. The court. But do you have calculations of some sort? Camille. No, Your Honor. What we did is take the amount of the transcript, which is at the bottom of the transcript, and then subtracted our designations. The court. Okay. Ms. Vasquez. And then we took a look at the designations. Anything that we both co-designated, we split in half. The court. Okay. Ms. Vasquez. So it's a calculation that anyone with a transcript can do. I guess not. If you're Elaine, you can't. The court. Okay. I don't think they have any underlying work product. Camille. We don't have anything per se. Elaine. So when you subtracted, how do you know what to subtract? Camille. We subtracted the designations. Elaine. Do you have a number? The court. I'm not going to ask them to provide anything other than they have. If you want to go back, you have the transcript also. If you want to go back up, Elaine. Apparently, we're going to have to do that. That takes time, but I haven't agreed to what they sent in. Camille says, by the way, we're 1 minute apart. We're 1 minute apart. The court. You're kidding. Camille. No, we're 1 minute apart. Elaine. I haven't done any calculations. The court. I don't know. Ms. Vasquez. I was relying on them telling me. The court. I'm done with this conversation. Right now, that's all. That's what I have. If you find something different, you can let Sammy know. But that's what's going in the book right now. Elaine. But I don't agree. The court. I understand. That's why you're going to have to do it yourself. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, Elaine. I can't do a deep voice for Johnny. I can't. I think I will take my throat out if I try to. I just have to talk really slow, I guess. That's all I can do for Johnny. Deep voice is too hard. He's got an immensely beautiful, goddamn deep voice. I can't do it. Oh, it segues into another lawsuit that Johnny Depp was involved in the time. Remember the lawsuit with Rocky Brooks that ended up in I think a settlement. So that ended up not ever happening. Sidebar. Okay, so lots of redactions, discussing redactions. And who do we got here? So we got Jessica Myers for Johnny Depp, and then we got Mr. Roddenborn for Amber Heard. Okay. Mr. Roddenborn says, and you're currently in a lawsuit for assaulting a crew member on the set for one of your movies of July 2018, correct? Mr. Depp. Yes. I can't do Johnny. Yes. Someone brought a case against me. I can't. Yes. Someone brought a case against me. I can't. Yes. Someone brought a case against me. Question. A man by the name of Rocky Greg Brooks is suing you for allegedly punching him. Ms. Myers. Objection, Your Honor. Now they do a sidebar. Jessica says, this is the court. This is a defamation case. I don't think either of you can have improper character evidence in a defamation case. What's your objection? Jessica. Relevance, Your Honor. The court. What's your relevance? Mr. Roddenborn. Relevance is that the two bodyguards that were with him during the time of these allegations were Jerry Judge and Sean Bett, the same people that were with him the night of May 21st, 2016. Why is that relevant? Our belief is that Mr. Judge and Mr. Bett lied to protect him. They're all loyal to him. So the fact that he's being sued by someone for assaulting him on a movie set, the same two people who were conveniently there were May 21st, 2016, that's directly relevant evidence. I'll limit my question. I won't ask him about the allegations, but I want to ask him one more question. I'll say the two people who were with you, who were your security guards the day of the alleged assault, were Jerry Judge and Sean Bett. That's the only question I'll ask him. That's relevant. Jessica, that's tenuous. What happened between him and another man? The court. If he's not going to ask any other details, just that one limited question, okay? Mr. Roddenborn. Thank you, Your Honor. So he asks the question. We move on from that. That lawsuit has been dropped. Okay. What is this one? 19... Are we back to talking about the flight? Okay, so now we're cross-examining Johnny Depp, and we're talking about the flight that they were on. 14. All right, Roddenborn. At some point on the flight, you end up sleeping on the bathroom floor, correct? Answer, yes, I did. Question, you testified to that yesterday, didn't you? Answer, yes, I did. Question, when you landed, you were quite ill when you landed in Los Angeles, correct? Answer, I don't recall being quite ill. It's possible. I don't know what you're referring to, but you can take me there. Question. Yeah, sure. Let's take a look at the page 313 of your UK transcript, please. Answer. 3. Question is page 37 of the document. Myers, may we approach? So we're approaching with the judge right now. Your Honor, this is a testimony between text messages between Mr. Deuters and Amber Heard. So whatever these questions are, I can't imagine they're proper impeachment. Mr. Roddenborn. Your Honor, it's his testimony. I'm going to start with line 14. Were you sick when you arrived back in LA, or were you sick on the plane? He says, clearly, Mr. Deuters is sending these texts to Ms. Heard. I must have been quite ill, or I must have been quite ill. Ms. Myers, he's referring to a text message. Mr. Roddenborn, he's testifying that he was quite ill. He's not testifying to the content of the text messages. It's his testimony. He's relying on something on basis of his belief that he was quite ill. He testified under oath. I must have been quite ill. This isn't improper use of hearsay document. The court. No, it's the impeachment part. Mr. Roddenborn, he testified yesterday that he was. The court. I understand that. Mr. Roddenborn, you understand that. The court. Well, that was impeached by the text. Mr. Roddenborn, well, I can refresh his recollection of something, impeachment. He said, I don't recall. The court. The first reference is fine, but I don't see this as impeachment. Jessica. Your Honor, I'm sorry. The reference of the text messages between Mr. Deuters and Ms. Heard. The court. You just have to read it. You don't read it, he reads it. That's how you refresh his memory. Mr. Roddenborn. That's fine. The court. Yeah, have him read it and say, does it refresh your recollection? And then they say, thank you. And then they ask him, refresh his recollection. Sidebar number 10. Did you buy the muffins? Muffins! I hate when I wake up in the bathroom floor. That sounds painful, okay? Especially for someone with back pain. Oh, God. Ugh. I woke up in like a bathtub, I think. Yeah, a bathtub. Early 20s, man. Early 20s. Don't miss them. All right, what do we got for 2013? 2013, 5. What do we got here? 15, actually. All right, Roddenborn and Johnny Depp again. Question, would you agree that at least on parts of the plane flight, you were blackout? Answer, no, I wouldn't agree, but I was in a blackout. Question, look at the page. Answer, there's a difference between blackout and when you're on opiates. Question, let's look at page 333 of your transcript, please. 333. This is day 2. This is from the UK trial. Yes, there seems to be a lot. Jessica Myers, Your Honor, may we approach, please? All right, they're on the sidebar, approaching right now. Your Honor, I'm just anticipating where they're going. I just don't think this is proper impeachment testimony. Roddenborn, he just said he wasn't in a blackout. The court, he just said that he wasn't in a blackout. Jessica, he says apparently yes, the court, but parts of the flights I blacked out. Mr. Roddenborn, is there any reason why you said this and it isn't not true? Probably not. Then he goes on about how he exaggerates. It's direct impeachment of the question. The court, it is going from 813, 813. All right. All right. How far do I want to read into the blackout stuff? Not too far. All right. Next sidebar. Plane ride recording with Johnny Depp moaning in the background. Okay, so Jessica Meyer. I think the whole Depp team, they're just a little bit wary of the Heard team. Probably because they think the Heard team does like sketchy shit on the side or something. Must have had some previous past like shady stuff happening. Okay, so we got a sidebar number 11, plane ride recording with the moaning. Okay, sidebar, Jessica. I just want to make sure, Mr. Roddenborn, it's a plane ride recording. Jessica, I think we were maintaining objection on authentication on that one. The court, the previous motion in limine on this one. Jessica, I'm sorry. The court, was that the motion in limine? Jessica, that one was not. The court, is this a different one? Jessica, yes. The court, okay, all right. So authentication of the objection. Mr. Roddenborn, I mean, he testified about it in the UK. He will, at least if he testifies consistent with the UK, he will say it's from a different time. But I don't think he disputes. I'll have to check the transcript, but there wasn't a dispute. It was his voice, right? Jessica, I'm not disputing that it was his voice, but dispute as to whether it has been manipulated in any way and when it's actually from. So remember, I think they're just trying to be extra careful because there has been some evidence, photos that they felt was manipulated in order to back up Amber Heard's story. So here they are trying to, be a little bit, trying to safeguard and try to be careful and, I don't know, make sure that the team member is not going to put any evidence that's been manipulated. Okay, so Jessica says that, she's not disputing that his voice was on it, but they think it might have been, maybe it could have been manipulated. Roddenborn, that's the first I ever heard that. They haven't made any motion that the tapes were manipulated. They can ask him about that if they think it was manipulated. Jessica Myers, we're maintaining an authentication objection right now. Mr. Roddenborn, she just admitted that he testified that his voice on the video or audio. The court, so I guess at redirect you can, I'm not sure what questions you're going to ask about that. So you're objecting to it coming in, period, because of authentication? Ms. Myers, yes. Mr. Roddenborn, while admitting that it's his voice? The court, well, I guess that goes to the weight of it, so you can do it on redirect. Jessica says, okay, we'll let it in, go back and forth. So this is a part where Johnny Depp is like moaning, but I think they weren't really sure when that moaning happened. Amber Heard said that the moaning happened when he was on the airplane, and Johnny Depp's like, I don't know when she recorded that. I don't know if I trust her. Sidebar 13, lunch recess about Amber's PR team potentially leaking evidence that they shouldn't have. What's the tea on that? Mr. Chu. Ms. Vasquez received an email with an exhibit that Mr. Roddenborn used in cross. Ms. Vasquez, unredacted. Mr. Chu, unredacted. Has Mr. Depp's phone number on it. Ms. Vasquez, so we understand that Ms. Heard's side is working with a public relations firm and the court. Is it on social media? Ms. Vasquez, no, it looks like it's on scan and copy, Your Honor. Mr. Chu, it's from a binder. Ms. Vasquez, it looks clearly like it's been scanned in from a binder. It's clearly, but the problem here, it was an exhibit that was used by Mr. Roddenborn on cross. And it has your client's phone number and has obviously their client's email if she still uses that. But the concern here is that we understand that perhaps Ms. Heard's side is working with a public relations company to, once exhibits are admitted to by Your Honor, to push them out into media. The problem here is that is this an inadvertent disclosure before Your Honor admitted to exhibit? It looks like it might be. It was just sent to me by an afternoon while we're on lunch by a fan or somebody saying hi from the UK. Not sure if this was supposed to contain a telephone number. The court, it wasn't in our court files because we haven't. Ms. Vasquez, no, but I don't know where he obtained it, but it's clearly an exhibit that has never been utilized until during cross-examination today. The court, do we know? Do we know if it's any of your team or any? Mr. Roddenborn, I don't know. I don't know. The court, who's been involved in that? Elaine, I don't think anyone from our team is involved. I don't know the answer to this question. The court, the question is, what they're saying is, I guess, you got some kind of public PR team that gets the evidence out. Elaine, yeah, we're not actively working with them. The court, but they have all of your exhibits? Elaine, I don't think so. Ms. Vasquez, we understand they do. The court, yeah, you need to look into it and see what's going on because There's a lot of redactions going on. I mean, I don't even have that exhibit yet because it's owed to me for redactions. Elaine, I don't know what it is. Mr. Chu, we can show you what it is. Ms. Vasquez, it's the one that he was just showing Mr. Depp. Elaine, we'll look into this, Your Honor. We're not aware of anything. The court, yeah, okay. Camille, it was used in cross-examination today. Elaine, indiscernible. Cross-examination. Maybe she was mumbling something. Cross-examination. The court, I know, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. I know that the main thing is that I don't know what this PR firm is doing. I don't think any evidence should be going out, except that's why we did it on official court site. So they shouldn't be giving out evidence. So many things are redacted. Mr. Chu, it may not come in at all. The court, so if it's that, Elaine, totally understand that. The court, that train has had to stop if it's rolling. I'm not sure if it is. Elaine, totally understand, and we agree. I have another. Mr. Roddenborn has agreed. He intends to bring in 581, 582 this afternoon. The court, I don't know what that is. Elaine, they're audio tapes. The parties have agreed that all the audio tapes can come in full. These are the two. Jessica, can we clarify that? To the extent that just Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard are on the audio tape. Elaine, I didn't understand that was the... Mr. Chu, yes, you did. Come on, Elaine. Elaine. But in any event, Your Honor, this is 581, 582. These are between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard. We just wanted to disclose these are the two that are just partials. We could never find the full. We said that we're still looking for the time of the motion in limine. Your Honor denied the motion to try to exclude them. We went back. When we inherited this case 2 years ago, we inherited 1.3 documents, database. We had that completely searched, had IT people completely search it. We have not been notified anything but partials on both. But those are partials, and we claim partials here. We don't have the full report. We've done everything we can try to find it. Jessica, I think we need to start with the court. But you can also redirect on it also. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But those recording are just the two of them? Correct. That's correct. The court. There's no other people. Now that we're on the same page, that ones with other people aren't coming in. Jessica, we have not made that agreement. Elaine, we haven't done anything. The court. Well, the issue's out there, right? We're going to get it resolved. Mr. Roddenborn. So I didn't hear any of that. Can I use them? The court. Yes, you can use them. And your objection is noted. Jessica. Thank you. All right. Everyone gets back. Da-da-da. Thank you. Get back to the jury. And let's get the follow-up. So was it the PR team that may have leaked an exhibit out, or was it not? Let's see what Elaine says. She does her investigations. Elaine. All right, let's see what Elaine says. Your Honor, may we approach briefly before we take a break? Okay. Your Honor, I have verified with the PR people. They have not released anything, much less anything that would be an exhibit. They have never released anything that was not already in evidence, which means whatever was on Ms. Vasquez's phone has nothing to do with us. Could we believe that? What do we believe? What are we believing? Chu has been done with Elaine. I think Chu and the entire firm has been done with Elaine since before the trial. Like the communications going back and forth was hilarious. Okay. And the allegations. What's bothering me is that when they release these transcripts, these people has been getting transcripts every day. They release them to the press. They're making unfounded allegations about Mr. Chu. What are you talking about? Our legal team. We're suggesting we're releasing things, suggesting that other people are releasing things, and I'm very offended by it. Your Honor said we need to verify before we come to the bench, and now there's been an allegation. Our legal team had something to do with this. That's not what we did, said Mr. Chu. The court, I think they wanted to make sure that it was clear, and then you went back and you made sure. I don't think anybody's taking this, that there was anything. Of course, it did not come from us at all. That's fine. There's been verified. That's fine. That makes sense. I just want to make sure, like you said, that no evidence gets out there from anybody until Camille. As I stated, it also had Ms. Heard's email address. Ooh. The court. No, I know. That's why I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. that's happening. So that's fine. So I don't know where it's coming from, but I can tell you that I know Planet Depots has been getting people can pay for transcripts. Anybody can do it. The transcripts are getting out. It could be anybody paying for them. They'll take anybody's money. These transcripts, I think, are very expensive, by the way. So again, huge shout out to deepdive.net or deepdive.net. Vasquez. Your Honor, is this the court's website? It appears to be. The court. Oh, it's really weird. That's the court's website. Camille. So if I just may, just to show you that under today's date, these are the exhibits, and that's the one, the court. See, it might have been, have you downloaded anything today on the court? Have you downloaded any exhibits on the court website? Camille, that might be the court. We'll take a look. Elaine, I'm just glad. The court. All right. Thank you. Mr. Chu. Thank you, Your Honor. The court. We'll take a recess. All right. All rise. I think that's what we got for today. I think that's all we got. All right, guys. That is it for today's reading of the Depp Heard sidebars. Again, huge shout out to deppdive.net for posting all the stuff. It's very expensive to post these transcripts, so I appreciate them. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back again tomorrow. We'll read the rest of the transcripts.